Another reason would just be literally they wouldn't think it's affordable. Now, that could be literally because they do not have the means. It could also be because they have an unrealistic expectation of what children need and expect, or what they expect for their children, for their life, right? I mean, some people would just be like, hey, if my kid can't play rep hockey and doesn't have the nicest things, then I don't want to have another kid, right? That would just be their standard, right? Whereas like for us, it's like, hey, are they eating? Like, are they clothed? Yes. Are they well loved? They're fine. Like, that's the standard, right? And like in the community we live in, you literally run the Salvation Army. Everyone can eat. There's nobody starving in this community. Is that a fair statement? Or is that
I think
it is a fair statement. I don't have to ask you.
You might think, yeah, it could be fair, but I think more people are struggling than you think in this city.
Struggling what way?
There's no limit to the amount of places you can eat and go get a meal.
That's not true. So, for example, we feed 120 people a day.
Okay.
But we can't feed 200.
Are there people waiting outside that don't get to eat?
Sometimes.
Very rarely.
That don't get to eat? Never. Because we would go out of our way to do it. But
that's what I'm trying to say.
If there was 90 people there, it would be a lot harder to accommodate. So we're basically, we plan with projections, like what this is going to look like.
You understand what I'm trying to say?
I do.
We live in a community where like there's so many churches and so many people willing to help you. You have to put some effort in, right? But
you have to be willing to receive help, which is the biggest thing.
Gary, I got news for you.
Yeah.
Like there's like you just a lot of the places that you think someone could go to for practical help wouldn't find practical help in some of those places.
Okay.
In fact, we get phone calls from organizations and, places where, like you just listed, saying, oh, this person, this family's here. What can we send them to you? We're not going to help them, but you should. So, of course, the Salvation Army will never... Now I'm talking about the Salvation Army. I didn't really want to.
You didn't want to... Anyways, I looked at it like last night. Somebody came out of our church and I just, it was a single mom and lots of stuff, food. I'm just thinking in our community, anyone that I went to, if even on Facebook, I'll just go to the social media site. You go to our local page and somebody posts, hey, I'm a single mom, rent's due this day. I don't have any money for groceries. Mm-hmm. There's every single post is filled with 15 to 20 people. Hey, I'll cover you. Like at the end of the day, hard times bring out a lot of times the best in people, right? And
yes,
so I find it very hard to fathom that in the wealth we have in our community where someone's going to go without. Now, I'm sure they do.
There is a lot of people that are like, even just like nurses and stuff like that, that are don't own real estate and that are now like sleeping in their vehicles. Like the amount of the poverty.
That kind of stuff is happening more than you think in Chilliwack.
Yeah. And I know Ruth and Naomi's last week, I know a guy that does the talk there once in a while, and he said it's like getting wildly busy, like in the amount of people that are going in there. So I do think it's getting worse and worse.
And people are getting younger and younger on the street.
And another thing I will agree with is that the gap between the haves and the have-nots is widening very quickly.
Yes.
The middle, the healthy middle is completely depleting.
It's being hollowed out.
I was at the Hungry for Life auction with you there, Matt, the other night, and I was talking to a guy that runs a pretty large company in Abbotsford, manufacturing, does all his sales in the U.S. pretty much, the bulk of his sales. And that's what made me think of even the tariff, the $2,000 tariff money that Trump's handing out, because this guy's paying the tariff. And like he's just getting crushed. It was 25% on aluminum. He's selling all aluminum siding. Pretty unique business. Sells like a high-end product for commercial buildings predominantly and residential. And he was just saying too, like everybody's well paid at his plant, but a lot of these people in Abbotsford now, this well paid people, they are not buying a house. Which I mean, it makes sense, right? Yeah. A house is still $800,000-900,000. Like that's an insane amount of money, right?
Yeah.
So,
it is here.
One of the things that we see,
it is in Chilliwack. Sorry, I should preface that.
I want to say too, Chilliwack is an incredibly generous city.
Hey guys, if you enjoyed that episode and were blessed by it, would you be willing to support the show? That would help a lot in creating more content, improving the quality of the content, putting the production value, getting more guests on, and me being able to spend more time and energy towards it. So if you're interested in doing that, you can click up here and it'll take you to a support page. But you can also subscribe to the podcast by clicking over here and doing that. Thanks again for listening, and I'll catch you on the next one.